You know, when we think of a king, we picture royalty. Someone wearing a crown, sitting on a throne, surrounded by servants. A person who is waited on hand and foot. But Jesus turns all of that upside down. Let me take you to John 13, the Last Supper. Jesus, the King of Kings, the God of the universe, does something absolutely shocking. The disciples are gathered. The room is quiet. And then Jesus stands up. He takes off his outer garment, wraps a towel around his waist, and grabs a basin of water. He kneels down. The king kneels down to wash his disciples' feet. Now you've got to understand how wild this is. Back in those days, washing someone's feet wasn't just another old chore. It was the lowest job. The job for servants. People wore sandals and walked on dirty roads. Roads covered in mud, animal waste, human waste, and who knows what else. Their feet were filthy, and no one wanted that job. But Jesus did it. Here's God himself, putting on an apron like a servant, bending low to clean the grime off their feet. And not just Peter or John, he even washed Judas's feet. Judas? The one who was about to betray him? Can you imagine? The creator of the universe, the one who spoke the stars into existence, kneeling in front of men who were far from perfect, humbling himself to serve them. And here's where we see something amazing about Jesus' kingdom. It's backwards. It's nothing like the kingdoms of this world. In this world, the highest rank gets served. But in Jesus' kingdom, the highest rank serves. In this world, kings are lifted high and exalted. But in Jesus' kingdom, the king stoops low and washes dirty feet. Jesus told them, "You call me teacher and Lord, and you are right, for that is what I am. So if I, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, you also ought to wash one another's." Do you see what he's saying? He's showing us what true greatness looks like. It's not about power, position, or being served. It's about love. It's about humility. It's about serving others even when they don't deserve it. Jesus wasn't just teaching them a lesson about dirty feet. He was teaching them and us about the heart of his kingdom. So let me ask you, are you willing to put on the apron? Are you willing to serve even when it's hard? Even when it feels beneath you? Even when the people you're serving don't deserve it? That's what Jesus did for us. He didn't just wash feet. He gave his life. Now let's circle back to Judas. When we think of betrayal, most of us picture pain. Someone you trusted turning their back on you. Someone you cared for choosing to hurt you. Betrayal cuts deep, doesn't it? Now imagine this. You know the betrayal is coming. You know exactly who will do it. And you know how devastating it will be. That's where Jesus was during the Last Supper. He wasn't caught off guard by Judas' betrayal. He knew. He knew from the beginning. And yet, he knelt at Judas' feet, washed them clean, and showed him love. Picture the room that night. The disciples are gathered around the table, eating and talking, unaware of what's about to unfold. But Jesus knows. He knows this is his last meal with them before the cross. He knows one of his closest friends, someone he's walked with, taught, laughed with, will hand him over to his enemies for 30 pieces of silver. And yet, he gets up from the table, wraps a towel around his waist, and begins to wash their feet. One by one, he moves from disciple to disciple, washing away the dirt and filth. And then he comes to Judas. Can you imagine the weight of that moment? Jesus kneels before the man who has already made a deal with the chief priests. The man who in just a few hours will lead the soldiers to arrest him. He kneels before Judas, holds his feet in his hands, and washes them clean. What do you think Jesus felt in that moment? I believe his heart was heavy with sorrow, not anger, not bitterness, but sorrow. Because Jesus loved Judas. He had spent years pouring into him, teaching him, showing him miracles, signs, giving him the same opportunities as the other disciples. And as he knelt there, washing Judas's feet, it's as if he was saying, Judas, what more could I have done for you? I've loved you. I've shown you the truth. I've given you everything. And still, you've chosen this path. But he doesn't stop. He doesn't skip over Judas. He doesn't treat him any differently. He washes his feet with the same care, the same tenderness as the others. That is the love of Jesus. What kind of king is this? That even those who betray him, he loves, he serves, he teaches, and he calls him friend. A king who lays down his life, even for those who turn their backs on him. And here's where it gets personal. Because if we are honest, We've all been Judas at some point. We've all betrayed Jesus in our own way. We've chosen sin over him. We've put other things, money, pride, comfort, above him. And yet, Jesus still kneels at our feet. He still offers to wash us clean. He still goes to the cross for us. So what do we do with this? First, we let Jesus wash us, just like Peter had to learn. We can't clean ourselves up. We need to let him cleanse us. Our hearts, our minds, our lives. And second, we follow his example. If Jesus could wash the feet of his betrayer, how can we withhold love and forgiveness from anyone? Who in your life needs to see the love of Jesus through you? Maybe it's someone who's hurt you. Maybe it's someone you find hard to love. Maybe it's someone who's betrayed you. Jesus calls us to love them anyway, to serve them anyway, to show them the same grace he's shown us. Because this is what his kingdom looks like. It's not about power or revenge or getting even. It's about humility, love, service, even when it's hard. Jesus showed us that the greatest in his kingdom are the ones who kneel, the ones who serve, the ones who love, even when it costs them everything. Let's lay down our pride, our grudges, our need to be right. Let's kneel like Jesus did and love the people in our lives, even the ones who are hard to love. And let's remember this. If Jesus could kneel before Judas, if he could love him to the end, then there's no one beyond the reach of his grace. Jesus is still kneeling, still washing, still loving, and he's calling you to do the same.